Hello, and welcome once again to Wednesday Musings from the New Earth. I'd like to pose some questions to you today, to you and for you. Now, as a little kid growing up, well, as a teenager and a preteen, I used to think about God and what God is, consciousness. How is it that we are alive? How is it that there's this consciousness that speaks through individual human bodies? I used to think sometimes also uh, about what would happen after the body dies and all that, like we all do, contemplating the unknown and what it's like on the other side. But for many years, off and on, I would think about very deeply, what is consciousness? What is this thing that's aware of being aware? Well, I never did get an answer from God necessarily back then. But I got to tell you a very interesting story recently. Someone sent me a TikTok video of a mother and her 6-year-old boy. They were doing a selfie video driving in the car. And she asked her son, who or what is God? And the little boy, without thinking, said, well, God is everywhere or everything. Now, in that moment that he simply responded to his mom's query, I had a deep insight or a realization. So think about this. If we are told that God is everywhere and in everything and in everybody and in every experience, then what is preventing all of us from being in that state of communion and communication 24/7? Why is it oftentimes we feel lonely and afraid and fearful and distraught and anxious and depressed and overwhelmed and, well, you name it, right? We're all going through different aspects in our emotional mental bodies regarding these deep earth changes, and especially this year. So what I realized was, and I'll pose this question to you, what if you were to look very consciously, like through your physical eyes, out, just look at whatever you're looking at, be it nature, be it the surroundings in the city where you live or work, whatever you're doing, to just with your eyes, just look out and see what you can see, especially that which we have called invisible. Like, what would it be like if you could see the invisible air, if you could see the waves and particles in this invisible air that's all around us that we really can't label or name as such, as like we can a tree or another physical body or a river or clouds in the sky? And what if we were able to tap into that consciousness that permeates that invisible empty space that we see physically? And what if clairvoyantly we were to do the same thing? To use the power of our third eye and our envisioning faculty to imagine or visualize what is in empty space or dark matter, what is in that space between form or bodies when we look at it energetically. And let's suppose that it is true that if God is in everything, in everywhere, in everybody, and in every experience, then really what's the search for ascension or enlightenment or awakening? Why are we even doing that if already we are in this unity consciousness state, but we're not aware of it quite yet. And what if, regarding your body's ability to heal itself, what if, we can imagine this, what if all of the energy, matter, protons, electrons, neutrons, atomic energy, what if that has always been around us in our field and connected to our bodies, and all we had to do was align and agree that our body is now connected to all of these elemental forces for balance and harmony? What would happen to the health of our body? Can you imagine what would happen? And we'll go this into another musings. But what would, if we were to bring in consciously, with awareness and intention, our divine presence into everything that we do, into every kind of healing intention that we have, what would happen? What if we were to fully embody presence? What would happen? That's for another musing, but that's a little side note. So perhaps today you can contemplate more deeply what would be the experience, what would be the feeling if you could agree to stay aligned into all of this invisible energy that's all around us that we would call God consciousness or God stuff. And if everything that we ever needed is in this God stuff that surrounds us, and that's in also in our bodies, in the so-called empty space in between our cells and atoms. And what if our physical bodies aren't as solid as we believe it to be? Could we move mountains? Could we walk on water? Could we levitate? Could we bilocate? Can we teleport to Venus or to the Pleiadian star cluster? What would happen? So, food for thought for today. And I want to thank you very much for dropping in and sharing energies in space. And we also would like you to check out our website that's being a bit edited, upgraded, and reformatted to check out our new programs that we are now offering. You might be interested, especially if you like these Wednesday musings, voices, and songs from Inner Earth. So thank you very much. Have a very blessed week and enjoy your experience.